Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Lore. I'm your host, Jet, still viewing and reviewing one of the soapiest, suzziest primetime storylines of 1982. We're back on the West Coast, doing the absolute most per usual, so sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or outside. Tell babe no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 45 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, you can be cool, you can be quiet, or you will be kicked all the way out because we are what? We are watching our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soap Lore. Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Lore. I hope you are ready for an intense session today. Actually, that's quite dramatic. I hope you were ready for a good time. I hope your day was cool. If it wasn't, you know what? Screw it. We'll start over tomorrow. Go ahead and kick back and relax. Baby, this episode was good for weird reasons for me. We're back on the West Coast watching Knots Landing today. And boy, oh boy, did I have the revelation of all revelations today. Go ahead and pour yourself up something bubbly and bright. I'm going to concentrate on hydration for a minute before I go fish out something a little more interesting. Relax as we watch Season 4, Episode 7, Investments. This is an interesting episode. I want you to indulge me here for a second. Let's go back to the mid-90s. It's an interesting time in the world, especially if you are a preteen. Spice Girls are emerging, platforms, leather, bright clothing. Definitely a sharp contrast from the late 80s, early 90s. Music is changing, clothing is starting to change, and so is your girl, Baby Jet. Baby Jet is about to enter middle school. Things are about to get very interesting. Now, was she nervous? Was I nervous? I guess I could stop talking about myself in the third person, even if it's in the past. Not really. See, you got to remember, I had already been a teenager. I've been a teenager since I was 3-4 years old, running around with other teenagers. Full-on Gen X experience as a little kid. Not full-on, obviously. There were major things I missed out on, but I was not conscious of it at the time. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I felt ready. My sister had taken me and my cousin to see the movie Clueless, I believe maybe the previous summer. So that fashion had already taken place. I really need you to picture this. When I was a little kid, I fully thought I would go to school with like the tennis skirts, the blazers. As the 90s started to come into their own, by the mid-90s, you could start to see little twinkles and little dabbles of 2000 popping in. Shimmery eyeshadows, platform shoes, platform sandals, capris were starting to make their way back into the thing. You know what I'm saying? Grunge was out. This new wave of things was coming in, at least for people maybe from the 3rd to 9th grade. Things were looking a little bit differently. We're starting to find our own identity. Baby Jets, i.e. me, was extra confident because I had a fistful of summertime babysitting money. This marks the first time that I got to buy a piece of clothing for myself with my own money. Nobody could say, you got McDonald's money? You got platform wedge money? Actually, I do. Okay, so check this out. I'm in Kmart with my family. And if I recall correctly, Kmart was right next door to the movies. And this is back when you had to call the movie phone, figure out what the times were. We had sojourned over the dangerous highways to go to the movies, do a little shopping, and we arrived probably an hour and a half too early. So we're like, you know what? Let's just kind of mess around in Kmart. My little brother wanted to look at the toys. I wanted to check out some stationery, perhaps peruse the clothing. My mom and dad were renovating our house at the time, so they're looking at different odds and ends. I'm walking around by myself because, I mean, it's the mid-90s and no one cared. Children, you yell stranger danger, be on your way. Keeping an eye on my little brother who was in the toy section as I sauntered over to the shoes, which is directly across. I currently stand 5'9", so I'm already 5'6", 5'7" at this time as I'm about to enter middle school. I think I was already starting middle school. And I've never had Cinderella feet. Your girl got some footses on her, okay? So I already wore like a 10, and for whatever reason, the discrimination was at an all-time high, mid 90s, especially with young girls with big feet. I could never find the cool shoes I wanted. So it didn't matter how many Delia magazines I'd looked at, no matter times I went by Dillard's or different places like that. They didn't always have cute shoes in my size. They felt like if you wore a size 10, you were Miss Shirley at the church fish fry, or you worked in food services and you needed the non-skids, or you had the orthopedic 8,000s. Very difficult to find cute shoes. But on this fateful fall afternoon, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I quickly rushed over and gasped, almost evaporated. I literally almost turned into that sparkle crap on Star Trek. In my size, actually one size up, because let's be real, I probably needed an 11, but I was trying to squeeze myself into a 10. I saw my heart's desire, a patent leather pair of stark white Mary Jane shoes. Not the little girl Easter Sunday Mary Janes. We're talking mid 90s, Cher Horowitz, Ashley Banks, cool teenager in 17 magazine Mary Janes. Oh my God, I was so excited. I'm getting excited even as I say it, even though I know how this turns out. I had my outfits planned. Do you hear me? Why wouldn't I? I had plans to stunt all school year long. Those 3 years were going to fly by, and I was going to be the flyest. So my parents still bought my clothes, obviously. They bought my school clothes, but of course I had money, like I said, so I could buy whatever I wanted. The twins and my sister had picked me out a couple of things. They knew I really liked Clueless. I had a pair of black Mary Janes already. They were just sort of the flat ones. They were cute or whatever, but they were not elevated to a mid-90s style. These were shoes that I had seen in 17 magazine, Teen magazine, YM magazine. Yes, I had a subscription to one. Sometimes I relieved doctors' offices from those magazines. Don't judge me. Nobody in those old people doctors was reading 17 and YM. Actually, I had a subscription to 17. I lifted YM a time or two. Anyway, I saw the shoes. I started salivating. I immediately snatched him up. I go and grab my brother, like, yo, we need to go right now. We need to go check this out right now. He's mad. He got an attitude because he wants the turtle. I'm like, grab the turtle. I got it. I got that money. Grab it. It's on me. Come on. I was afraid that some elderly woman or some other stylish sixth grader was going to want my shoes. So I had to run to the checkout as quickly as possible, slam down my $29.99, and they put my shoes in a bag. And for the first time in my life, I made an adult purchase. I bought my own shoes and I was elated. Fast forward to after the movie. My family and I are back in our Toyota Previa. My dad says, Peter Pie, that's what he calls me. Peter Pie, what'd you buy? I proudly reach into my Kmart bag, pull out these iconic, next level, about to get me so many compliment shoes, hoist them in the air and say, look at this, Dad. My mother, who was not in this conversation, I don't know why she turned her head to say something. Love you, Mommy. She turns her head and immediately she starts cackling. Cackling. To the point where she's like head on the side of the window howling. She is laughing so hard. Then she proceeds to say, I'm gonna get you sucker. You dirty mother. Don't you say. She's singing the theme song from a movie by the Wayans brothers, or just Keenan Ivory Wayans, I can't remember, called I'm gonna get you sucker. You've never seen it, look it up, enjoy all the laughs, okay? See, I knew exactly what she was talking about. My dad begins to join her, only my dad has a laugh that's more like a percolator. He's more of a quiet person, so sometimes it takes him a little bit to get started. So he's like, and he starts to cow. They're in full guffaws. Before you know it, I am not swayed. I'm like, y'all clearly don't know what's up. I don't even know why God allowed you to be alive in the 70s if you couldn't appreciate this. This is a modern twist on a classic design. You clearly don't know what you're looking at. I didn't say none of that because you know what I'm saying. I'm not disrespectful. But I was unbothered. My mom and dad are talking about, can't nobody sing like Eddie Kane Jr. They're calling me every 5 heartbeats. I'm in the Temptations. I got submarine tic tacs for shoes. They clearly didn't know what was up. So fast forward a couple of weeks because I needed time to get the perfect outfit together. I'd already had the black Mary Janes. I think I had a black plaid skirt. I had the skirt that Cher wore in Clueless when she was going to take her driver's test and she couldn't find her white shirt from Fred Siegel's. It was, I think hers was gray. Mine was baby blue argyle and it was iconic and it was beautiful. I didn't have the long sheer shirt that I wanted in white. I had it in black, so I couldn't wear that with my stark white shoes and that blue skirt. It wasn't going to work. So what I decided on was a khaki skirt that I had and this other sort of baby doll cut shirt. I had the socks prepared, but later decided that wasn't going to happen. On the morning I decided to put on these shoes, y'all, I began to try to slip my foot in it and I couldn't get it past my toes. I'm like, what? These are definitely big. What is going on? Why can't I put these in? These weren't patent leather, like I had said. Hindsight is 2020. I'm trying to squeeze my foot into it and it is not giving. Here's the thing. I had been shopping with teenagers. I had been shopping with my parents. I thought I was an expert because I'd already done these things. Like clearly I can pick out my own shoes. What I didn't realize is that every time I tried on shoes before that, I actually had to try them on. My parents weren't just wanting to know what they were going to look like on my feet. They were making sure that they fit. When I went with teenagers to go shopping and they tried on a lot of clothes, I thought they were just being vain. No, you try on things to see how it fits your body because everything ain't for everybody. Say it with me again. Everything ain't for everybody. But Baby Jet didn't give a damn because these shoes were going to be for me come hell or high water. I grew up in a lovely black household, so there's always lotion around. I simply went and got me some lotion. And when I tell you I lathered my feet up, I basically frosted my feet with lotion as if it was ice. And I squelched and squished and squeezed my way into them shoes, clasped the buckle. I immediately knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong because I could start to hear my hair follicles grow. My tongue sort of lost taste a little bit, and I thought, oh my God, today I got to figure out how to walk in these shoes. I didn't care. I stood up. I allowed the excess lotion to squelch over the top. I had to wipe that down. I'm in a household, like I said, I'm not wasting lotion. So I simply greased up the rest of my legs, my arms. Hey, who needs some lotion? Cleaned myself up as best I could. And I could hear the horn outside because my dad was prepared to take us to school. One thing about my dad, he did not play about you cannot be tardy. We're leaving at 7:15 sharp, which was crazy early. School starts at 8. We were there by 7:15. You can go to the cafeteria, you can do whatever. Okay. Gathered my teams and I started to walk, and immediately I could feel the weight of those shoes. Truth be told, when I was running to go check out in Kmart, I noticed they were kind of heavy, but I didn't really think too much about it. I'm also leaving out a little bit of a detail here. These patent leather, not even pleather, these are like plastic shoes. They're hard as a rock. I can't wiggle my toes. I can't do any sort of moving. I start walking out, but I'm walking like an 87-year-old lady who just had bunion surgery. And my dad's like, are you okay? I couldn't tell him that they hurt, even though he could probably tell on my face. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Remember at the top of this story, I told you this is not a West Coast story. I was in West Texas. West Texas has a lot of dust. Dust floats around all the time. So by the time I get into the car, all of that lovely lotion I had lathered on my feet now had a lovely coat of sand all over it. So I look like I got cinnamon toast crunch feet. And my shoes are already peppered in the same cinnamon toast crunch dust. I get to school and I immediately sit down, y'all, and I'm like, okay, I just got to make it through the day. I just got to make it through the day. I'm determined. I look amazing. Compliments start coming left and right. Jet, you look cute. Jet, where are your shoes? Oh my God. I'm like, yes, 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 you get it. Clearly you get it because you are a child of the mid 90s and you understand. Mom and dad just don't get it. They got it. They got it good because for the first time in my life, I was extremely grateful to go to a relatively small school. But on that day, it might as well have been the Houston airport. It was massive. Every step crushed and crunched my squeaky, sweaty, over lotion, over sanded feet in this synthetic material. I had no give. All I had was pain. So I persevered. I determined that I'm not going to get drinks of water because that would require me to go to the bathroom. I'm going to carry my backpack with me all day because otherwise I'd have to walk back and forth to my locker. I had that kind of time. By third, fourth period, I had a plan. I'm like, okay. After lunch, which I sat out, by the way, because I mean, what do I look like walking around? I said, when I go to gym class, I'm just going to pretend like I can't find my shoes after the fact. And I'm just going to wear those hideous Asics or those old Nikes, whatever they got lying around. That's what I'm walking in for the rest of the day. I give up. I give up. I'm not Cher Horowitz. I'm not Ashley Banks. I'm just going to have to live like this, okay? Tell me why this is the one time, and I do mean this was the only time this ever happened. My gym coach comes in proudly. I'm ready to change. She announces that we are going to explore school spirit and we're going to walk over to the high school and we're going to cheer them on in this tournament they had going on. I think it was a volleyball tournament because it was fall. We're going to go cheer on our team. They're playing right around this time. We really need the crowd support. We want the morale to be up. Let's go cheer on our girls. Y'all almost jumped this woman. I started looking for somebody to fight. I'm like, okay, clear. I need to get sent home. I want to go to ISS. I want to end this horror, this agony immediately. I start looking for somebody to fight. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you get your hands on something that you coveted or something that you admired. And you know what? For all intents and purposes, it looks good. It's the right style, but it's just not quite for you. I feel like this episode was chock full of moments like this. Characters that we're going to talk about, I think they all picked up a pair of patent pleather shoes that may or may not fit them. It's just a matter of time now to tell who's going to try to stomp through the pain, who's going to kick them horrors off. Season 4, Episode 7, Investments. Last thing about the shoes, guys, I've looked high and low to see if I could find them. I forgot a crucial detail. Not only were they steel toe Mary Janes practically made out of the most sturdy plastic known to man, they were high gloss, they were shiny, and I forgot to mention, y'all, they had a really thick sole. Not quite a platform, not quite a flat. Chunky is the word we would use today. And I also forgot to mention that they were clear. The soles were clear and chunky. Hence, my mom and daddy reading me for Phil, calling me, I'm going to get you, sucker. That scene, for those of you who hadn't seen it, there's a guy who goes to jail and he dresses like Superfly. He's got the big platforms. He's got the suede suit with the cape and the big old hat. By the time he gets out of jail, it's the mid 80s. Everybody is laughing at him because he looks ridiculous. He's wearing these platform shoes that have, they're glass. So they have a fish tank at the bottom. My mama and daddy were implying that I was stomping around the halls of my middle school with platforms with fish in the bottom. I don't judge you. They're right. I would do the exact same thing. You know what? It built character. I'm going to try to find a picture. I tried my best. I could not find this. But if anybody who shopped at Kmart regularly, please tell me you know what I'm talking about. I could not find a picture. AI created one that was similar, kind of big, chunky ones. I'll see if I can post it somewhere. The only thing more painful than my plastic Tic Tac submarine shoes was listening to good old Dirty Diana this whole episode. Now, she's not in the whole thing. I'm trying my best to get past this. Like, at this point, it's very clear the writers have to know that she's probably not everybody's favorite. I heard that she has a really good sense of humor about it, the actress who plays her. When I watched her in Hotel, she was lovely. I liked her so, so much. I also liked Cole, though, in that. But on this one, she's on one from the giddy up. So at the top of the show, we see Joe downstairs on the phone having what seems to be a mildly intense but very, very shocking conversation with someone we don't ever see. Karen and middle boy, what's his name? That's Eric? Eric with the mustache, the feather dusted mustache comes downstairs. He's hauling a big giant suitcase. Karen is talking to her brother like he's not on the phone. Don't you hate when people talk to you when you're on the phone? You haven't said 2 words to me all day. Let me pick up a phone. Everybody in the world has 20 minutes worth of conversation for me. Joe also picks up on the fact that his sister has no boundaries. He's like, let me call you back. I'll call you back. It's suddenly Graham Central Station here. Karen is asking him what jacket to take because she's about to go on a camping trip. Seemed weird to me, but not really. Or not, but stranger things have happened. It then becomes stranger when we see her suitcase that Eric has carried downstairs for her. Strange to some people, not to me. I'm an overpacker, but I don't know what you would take on a camping trip, and that's her whole thing. What am I going to take? Joe gets off the phone. Diana comes downstairs wanting to borrow Karen's $90 designer blouse. Karen says, absolutely not. That's my $90 designer blouse. Diana says, well, you're not going to need it. You're going on a trip. You won't even be here. I don't like the sing-song in your tongue, little girl. Mac comes bursting in the door right about that time, dressed like Wilson. Is that the neighbor on Home Improvement? Dressed like that man. They're going fishing. I thought she said camping. He's saying fishing. Same difference. I didn't realize you need all them clothes. I thought you just showed up with a cooler, a tent, boom, boom, boom. Now he's dressed like he does this for real. Like he's going to feed his village later on or something. He immediately sees Karen's overpacked suitcase and says, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with a rookie. Diana feels the need to inform him, to enlighten him, if you will, to educate him that her mother doesn't like fishing. She doesn't like camping. She didn't like any of that, but all of a sudden, she's on these trips. She's going. Karen is obviously uncomfortable, but she's like, I'm not going to break today. Not today, Staten. I'm going to get my life together. She says, Diana, I will try anything once. Mac chimes in and says, fishing is good for the soul. Diana says, my soul is just fine without fishing. It's actually not, little girl. She might need to go and get baptized in that fish water or something. She needs some. She's a lot this episode. She storms into the kitchen. Her mother follows her, basically like, get your life together, Diana. Could you please fix your face? She can tell that Diana wants to fight. She immediately leaves. Joe later tries to console Diana because it's obvious why she's upset. I can give her grace and admit that it can't be easy watching your mom date other people, although they've had plenty of people in their home at this point. But she already doesn't like Mac. I get it. Him coming in looking the way he looks today, too, would also piss me off. It might set me off, and I'd probably have to say a couple slick things, too. But she doesn't want to talk about it. She gets progressively angrier and angrier as Joe tries to pry it out of her. She makes a huge mistake by mentioning her dad. As in, I know it can be easy to watch your mom with someone other than your dad. But I feel like this is serious. She goes smooth off. I don't care. And you know what? Only a fool would compare my dad to that man. Storms off. I almost wish one of the boys was angry. But okay, fine. Fine. Let me just accept Diana's angry, blase. She got an attitude. She don't want that man in her house. She don't want that man in her life. And she certainly don't want her mom in a tent in the middle of nowhere with that man. The truth is, Diana's not the only person who is apprehensive or has at least strong feelings about this trip. It's very important to Karen, but maybe it's a little too raw, a little too real. She goes to the campsite and she must have absorbed all of Diana's energy because she becomes a colossal pain in the butt. Karen seems to be surprised when they arrive at the campsite that she is expected to share a tent with Mac. She feels like he's moving too fast. How dare you assume that I would want to get inside of a tent with you? You think I'm just going to bust it open in a tent? That you think that's what we're going to do? We're going to sleep together? He's like, I kind of thought that would happen, but I mean, if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. I get it. She stormed off the next morning. She tries to act like nothing happened. She wants to have a long talk about Diana, talk about life, fill the quiet space. She doesn't like silence. But Mac, who's had a long night, says, you know what, honey, fishing is kind of like it's like a library. You got to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Can't really be yelling. You might scare the fish. She doesn't really appreciate this. This whole scene was weird because I suppose they needed to get away, and having them out in the middle of nowhere does give them an opportunity to know each other. But I don't want to say it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to. I think the show was written so well. But Karen is a very outspoken woman. Mac is a very outspoken man. Whether they're alone or in a room full of people, they're going to express exactly how they feel to each other. So it felt a little odd that they hadn't talked about this part of their relationship. In his eyes and in hers in a lot of ways, this trip was the next step. This was them trying on the proverbial shoe, if you will. Is this going to work? Is this the right time? Is this the right fit? Is this the right look? Do we take it to the next level? They've sort of reached the point of not necessarily no return, but we got to move forward or move on. We can move forward together or we can move on our separate ways. The tent set her off. Even though he explained that we put two tents together, it makes it a double. Yes, we are technically sleeping together in a tent. She suddenly feels pressured. So the indication or the implication is that she is not quite ready and she feels like he was too bold in planning this whole trip and that was his whole goal. He's looking at her like she's chewing gravy. Okay, girl, if that's what you say, fine. So they end up getting into this massive argument. She insists that he take her home because this is just not going to work out. This is too much pressure. This is that and the third. So he flies into her driveway, drops her off, kicks her out basically. She goes in the house and eventually she busts out crying because she realizes she has feelings for Mac. She wants them. She wants them real bad, but now she's messed it up. She's probably also thinking, this is the first guy I've had real feelings for after my husband died. And I don't know if I'm going to have feelings for other people like this. This is up in the air. This is brand new. Are they handling it well? No, but it felt weird because they're both so outspoken. So I found it not necessarily hard to believe. It actually makes it a little more fun now that I think about it. Two people who are outspoken can't say the thing that they really want to say, which is, I really want you in that way. I really want to be with you. I really want to take this to the next level. Seems obvious, but sometimes you got to do the obvious thing, like actually try on a shoe in the store, see if it works. Let's get to another person who's trying on everything in the cul-de-sac. I gotta say, I don't know what to make of Chip other than he does feel like a daytime TV villain to me, 100%. I didn't expect this kid to be so. I don't know. I don't think we've seen the worst of Chip yet. I think there is a very dark side to him that is going to emerge out here sooner rather than later. But near the top of the show, Laline, the Vidalia Onion Queen, is fresh off her Mall of America tour. She is elated. Time away has been good to her. She's got her a fresh new outfit. It is all white. She borrowed it from Crystal over on Dynasty. She's got a middle part bust down. She looks fantastic. There's nary a whimsical ponytail in sight. No flesh-toned lipstick. She looks good. She's happy to be home. She bursts in her own house to find Lily Mae and Chip on the couch, him giving her a deep tissue massage. Valerie said, hey, Chip, what y'all doing? Hey. Now, Lily Mae is startled because she thought Val was going to be home the next day. She had a whole evening, I'm assuming, planned for her and Chip. Little massage, little meal, little whatever you want to do with Big Mama. She's Valine, what are you doing home? Valine says, well, Mama, I was worried about you. You sound so sad on the phone. I decided to cut my trip short. Chip makes himself useful. He understands how to do that. He immediately says, Valine, so great to have you back. Glad the tour went well. I'm going to go grab your bag. Now he goes to grab his bags, and not a second too soon, because Val is like, what is Chip doing here? Lily Mae has already forgotten she sold that wolf ticket to Chip, telling him that Valine wanted him to stay. You need to just go ahead and live with us for a while. So you get on your feet. Everything is wonderful. Valine don't know that. Didn't know that he got fired right away. Doesn't seem like it. And she certainly didn't know that he was staying with them. Lily Mae immediately says, oh, Valine, don't you remember? Chip is going to be staying with us for a while. I was like, oh, word? I came home from a long, hard tour and I am running a bed and breakfast. I didn't know that, Mama. Okay, cool. So the next morning, Lily Mae is slaving over a lukewarm stove, apparently making some famous chicken dish she makes. She tries to make Valine taste it. Valine said, Mom, I ain't never had no chicken dish from you in my life, in my whole life. I don't know what you're talking about. Lily Mae has the audacity to be offended, as if she wasn't a neglected mother. She says, Valine, I know you lying. Your uncle ate this one time and he passed out because it was so good. Immediately, I know I'm not getting a bowl, and I think Valine's got the same thought. It's my famous chicken blase. Taste it. You can tell it's just water in the pot. Valeen's like, Mama, that's all great. Yeah, I get it. Chicken, get your chicken here. I got it. Um, what about Chip? Why is Chips and Dip still here? It's also worth noting this episode is worth watching always because the show's awesome. But Lily Mae's outfit is blending in with the wall. It's almost like I see a floating head and hands. Very distracting. Valeen said, Mama, what is Chip doing here? Why is he living in my crib? I came home expecting some peace and quiet. Now I see him rubbing up, flipping you down on the couch. What's going on? Valeen is aware now that he ain't got no job. Lily Mae is giving that old speech. You know, he's a hardworking young man. He ain't gonna be out of work long. He just needs a little place to stay. That's all. Luckily, she's saved by the bell because Joe comes walking in. He wants to know how's the tour, how's everything. I immediately like the chemistry between Val and Joe. And I thought something was going to go on, but I'm going to go ahead and spoil it now. By the end of the show, it appears that Joe might be leaving. You see, he has received a super secret, not so secret offer to to run a company, publishing company in New York. But in this scene, he's asking Val if she's got any more books because that's what he told the person on the phone. He says, well, you wanted me to manage Valeen Ewing's book. That's what I want to do. So it's almost like he's hoping she had another book so that he could say no to the initial offer and say, well, no, I need to stay with her and make sure everything's cool. Plus, his sister's kids need a man around. He's being a good brother. Need to discuss his real bit player bit scene. Richard and Laura are in Daniels, not in the restaurant Daniels. And he casually asks her, hey, Laura, where are those taxes that we've done over the last, I don't know, 5 years? She immediately is like, why? I might need to talk to a bank or something. Why do you need to talk to a bank? Didn't the bank already tell you you're not getting a loan? He's like, I'm talking to a different bank. Here's why I guess they're at home, Richard. Obviously, I don't think anybody walks around with their filed taxes on their person. She says, why do you need a loan, Richard, and why do you need to talk to another bank? He kind of avoids the question. He's just sort of adjusting this fork here, moving this glass there. She asks him flat out, is the money gone? He kind of ignores that. She goes, okay, well, how do you plan on getting the loan? If you've already been rejected as a part she's not saying out loud. He says, by the books. We are booked out 2 weeks in advance. We've been sold out every single night. She chimes in with, but we're still losing money. So it sounds like money is all the way gone and they're still losing money. He says, no, it's just from the initial outpour. I had to spend a lot to make a lot. She said, you budgeted for the initial outpour, so why are we still losing money? He can't say it out loud. He can't admit that maybe he's taken it overboard. She says it for him. Richard, it is because of your spending. You have to have the best this, the best that. And I do recall he was showing somebody in the kitchen that each glass there costs $35. That is insane for a mom and pop business. $35 a glass. Do you know how often people break glasses? He ain't buying wholesale. He's buying creme de la creme, and he wants the world to know it. Richard wants to stunt in middle school. He wants everyone to see that he is sophisticated, he is smart, he is savvy, he can run a successful business, and he says as much. Maybe, just maybe, I'll show everybody I can run a successful business. Okay, Richard. Gonna get you some cocoa butter, start slathering your feet, and we'll see how this fits. Meanwhile, at an undisclosed location in California, Gary Ewing and his brand new family are riding in the countryside. Everyone except Gary, of course, has their eyes closed in the car and they're giddy. They're breathless with excitement. Where are you taking us, Gary? Where are you taking us? Abby and the babies. Oh my God, what's going on? He pulls over, and I immediately notice that this seems to be the exact same ranch used on Falcon Crest when Aunt Terry was in her mob wife era and she was out there rejecting the manimal, making him buy her jelly donuts and ish because he needed money. She wanted him on a leash. Anyway, it looks like the same place to me. Gary hops out and he's like, what do you guys think? What do you think? Olivia and Brian run immediately to the horses, and these kids are intuitive. They pick up grass from the ground, they start feeding the horses. They ain't scared. They love animals. Abby's like, oh my God, Gary, this is stunning. This is gorgeous. He's like, yeah, I figure the kids will like it. Fresh air. There's nothing like growing up on a ranch. She said, growing up? What do you mean growing up? He says, well, honey, I want to buy this for us. I want us to live here. She's like, like with animals and shit. Gary starts talking about growing vegetables and grazing land and how rich and wonderful it is and how good it'll be for the family. Abby is very, very, she's like a surgeon in this thing. Never mind the fact that she looks like Puss in Boots. She says, Gary, oh, honey, oh my God. Yeah, this is stunning. This is gorgeous. This is beautiful. But you want to live here? He explained. The only time in my life that I was ever really, really happy was on the ranch. It's something I just can't really explain it, Abby. It's just something about the seasons, the rhythm. Just, I loved watching things grow. I felt so good here. And Abby says, oh my God, darling, you are such a romantic. She cups his face in her hands, gives him a little peck. Honey, just because you dreamed about something as a kid doesn't mean you have to do it now. You have money, you have opportunities. Invest in other things. Watch that money grow. Like you can do so much, my love. And money is power, and you now have the power to build even bigger dreams. Nice, Abby, nice. Gary says, but honey, what's the point of building bigger dreams if you're not really doing what you want? He says, honey, I know you. I know you like the back of my hand. You thrive on excitement. You like living on the edge. We both want so many things. I just need you to remember you have tons of opportunity to do this now. You can spread your wealth. You can invest in other things. There'll always be ranches. I'm both surprised and not necessarily doubtful, but I'm very surprised that Gary took that as well as he did. I'm also surprised at how quickly he seems to listen to her. She said it in a way that was not offensive, not saying, Gary, this is a ridiculous idea. She simply says, listen, that was one dream you had. You now have money. Money can multiply dreams. All I'm saying is let's take care of the money first, explore other options so that money can grow and it becomes power. And then you can get a ranch and, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying no, I'm saying ranch and. He seems to think this is a pretty sturdy idea, at least while he's in front of her. I said all that saying she was respectful. She was a little. She was a little bit lax in her words for a minute. She's like, maybe we both like excitement. That's why we don't need to live on a farm because of rams. Animals, you know what I'm saying? I smell dookie either way. We need to be in the hustle and bustle. We're movers and shakers, not turd kickers. You feel me? This we thing, us, we. Pay attention to that. The look on Abby's face after she has this little speech, this small conversation with him is almost like, she's a little bit exhausted. This is the first time that I have ever seen her react to him in that way. Like she still maintains, Joe Wide, I love you. You're the greatest man that ever lived to his face. And this is one of the first times. It's not that I don't believe it, but I'm just like, okay, and you're the greatest man, but I'm questioning her ands at this point. She seems like she realizes in this moment that him with money is going to be a hell of a job. It's going to take a lot of work to rein this man in because if she believes what she says and if what she said is true, he thrives on excitement and risk. He's even confessed that at earlier points in this series. He likes risk. He doesn't know why he likes it, but he does. Now this man has means. Now she realizes, okay, I'm a really for real got to keep my eyes open. Thank God I don't really have to raise these kids like that. I can follow him around and make sure everything is Gucci and golden so that I can stay in Gucci and gold. Perhaps Abby struck a nerve. Not necessarily struck a nerve. I think she sparked something and he's like, you know what, you're right. Investment. Okay, money is power. You can turn things into bigger things. We can have an empire, blase, cool, great. Let me go check on my homeboy Kenny. Now, I thought that Kenny's company was about to go kerplunk. He seems to have a luxurious, large office. And our good sister CG is there. Today she is dressed in zebra. Gary walks in with his extra medium shirt. He says, hey, Ken. Hey, CG. How's everything going? Not so hot, says Kenny. I have been everywhere talking to everyone about our good sister CG. Now, everybody says, no, the girl can sing, the girl's got pipes, but they just don't want to do anything with it. But I know she would be Latin within 6 months. I got a hole in my heart. That song lives rent free in my head now, by the way. I caught myself singing it this morning at work. Gary is sitting there and he says, well, why don't you just record her? And he says, well, didn't you hear me? They won't let me record her. They won't let me give her a break. It's difficult. I wish I could just get her on vinyl. Gary's like, no. Why don't you start your own company and then you just record her? Like, just do it. Because it's that easy, dude. Kenny's like, I would love to. You know, in a million. And right before the air part of Millionaire comes out, he was like, oh my God, I forgot. I always think of you like as a turd kicking himbo drunk sometimes. I be forgetting you was like good at business and stuff, Gary. And I forgot you was rich. I totally forgot about that. You trying to say you was trying to fund my company? Gary flexes so that his breasts pop through his blue shirt. He loves a baby blue medium, I'm telling you. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got money. A million. Gary says, I got the money and muscle. CG's got the voice. And you are trying to steal Danny Tanner swag, but I mean, you got a good chin, if nothing else. And you got this business expertise, record business, that is. Three of us, we can't miss, baby. We can't miss. Kenny says, by golly George, let's do this. I'm not comfortable with Kenny being Danny Tanner or Ned Flanders. It makes me very uncomfortable. Got his shirt tucked in. I can see his socks. It's so weird. But Kenny's like, you know what? You're not wrong. At the end of the day, this is kind of what I do for a living, and all you got is money. We don't really need you doing anything else. CG is that girl. This sounds like a fantastic idea. Let's do it, Gary. Let's look into it. Kenny doesn't know it, but he's talking dirty to Gary. He's trying to be the good guy, trying to do the right thing. He's excited, but he's like, yo, Gary, I appreciate you doing this and all, but are you sure about this? This is a very, very risky business. Risky is Gary's favorite word. Oh my God, yes. I don't mind a little risk. Matter of fact, I thrive on risk. CG is like, so what are y'all, do I have a record deal? He's not, because without a quote unquote record to answer to, they could make whatever sort of music they want, which is very risky. Gary says, okay, tell you what, go ahead, do the numbers, pull up some figures, get a timeline together, and then we'll meet again, figure out what we need to do. Let's do it. Kenny's like, say less. Gary stands up and I love this scene. This made me real happy for some reason. Like, I actually find myself cheering for him a little bit. He's like, damn, for the first time since my daddy died and the will was read, I actually feel rich, which is interesting. He went through all these stages of grief. He stressed for a little bit. He was sad. He was insulted. Can't believe y'all won't just give me my money. You think I'm a fool? You think I'm a loser? But when he stands up, he was like, wait a minute. Wait, hold up. My daddy dead. My brother's not going to ever bother me again. I got a pocket full of money that is just reproducing every single day. I'm rich. This kid has been rich his entire life, but that's all he needed was an outlet. I'll say this, as risky as the record company business is, I'm going to give it to Gary. Maybe he didn't do well in Texas. Maybe he had to run all through the Southwest getting drunk, doing whatever to fight his demons. Okay. He showed up and showed out at that car dealership. He knows how to sell. Oh, he did get Sid killed. I just forgot about that. Okay. Okay. But he might do okay. Yes, the record business is risky, but also, what if it works? What if it works? Speaking of works, Chip ain't got no job. He don't have a 9 to 5. He does have a 5 to 9. And apparently between noon and 3, he fills his time with Dirty Diana. Mind you, these people live 50 feet or less from each other, maybe 100. Chip isn't just running through the neighborhood. These people live in a cul-de-sac. He is running through the elbow of a neighborhood, romancing the old ladies, the young ladies. So apparently he liked the way Diana looks in her shorts and things. And he's also including her in his shenanigans. So him and his buttercream yellow car drive over to his former lady's house, and they steal a whole bunch of books. They probably go to her company now that I think about it. They steal a whole bunch of Val's books. Diana is an intelligent girl, and she's like, hey, homeboy, why do we need 500 copies of this book? It's a good book. But Capri Sun, what is it? Capri Sun Management? Caps? Capricorn Sun is a good book, but it ain't 500 copies good. Chip simply explains, all we're going to do is take these to a bookshop, and if they sell all of them, she'll be on the #1 bestsellers list. I am doing my job. I'm trying to sell Val. Won't you won't. Well, he's telling her this, and his car starts to go. Chip, oh, Chip, I'm raggedy. I'm a hoopty. Hoopty goes kerplunk. He goes and he's fiddling under the little hood. It starts to work, but Diana is a rich squirrel. She's got a dead dad and a mom who's on a camping trip. She says, hey, pal, go to this address. I got something for you. Well, they come speeding back through the cul-de-sac, mind you, the elbow of the neighborhood, which means there ain't a lot of room, in not a Mercedes. It looks like a Mustang. He wants to do donuts. He wants to do all the thing. And I'm like, God, Diana, how you have two sugar mamas? How you have a baby sugar mama and a grown folk sugar mama? Neither one of these women pay bills in their own house, mind you. Neither one of them are the head of their household. Yet Chip is gaining everything he needs from a May-December relationship. Both times. I don't know how much older he is than Diana. He's probably about 25. So it is what it is. But Chip is ripping and running and doing all sorts of things. Now keep that in mind. Lily Mae is to Chip what Chip is supposed to be to Valine. Lily Mae wants to see her new little booski succeed. So she goes up to Kenny's office and she says, hey, baby, your wife told me about this record company you're about to start. By the way, Ginger's not having it. Kenny immediately thinks Lily Mae has yet another mixtape. He says, Lily Mae, I'm not signing no new artist. She goes, no, I'm not here for me, not yet, at least. But I'm here about this very talented young man. He's a crackerjack publicist. His name is Chip. Chip know what he's talking about. Kenny's like, I don't really know if I should meet him. She didn't mention that Chip is standing right outside the door. So when Chip comes in a seersucker suit, DG's eyes go big. This is the first time I realized she's probably not banging Kenny. I don't know why. I know why I assume that. Because Kenny was the neighborhood himbo on seasons 1 and 2, but now he's cut and dry. He's all boring and whatnot. He's trying to wear an extra medium shirt like Gary, but he got his in the right size. So I mean, it's just okay. It's just okay, Kenneth. But CG looks at Chips Ahoy like he is fresh water. And she's so thirsty. Damn. So you're trying to tell me, ladies and gentlemen, of Knots Landing Land, is he really running through 3? Really? I don't know if Chip's met Abby yet. I would love for them to bump into each other because I feel like she might read him for Phil. I think they can see through each other, but she seems like she has an upper hand. And we'll get to Abby here in just. It takes no time for Chip to ruin this already borrowed car. He has a flat tire, but he's got CG with him. CG is dressed. She's dressed like the Mall of America version of Sandy from Grease at the end. She stepped it up a notch. She's trying to impress the kid. He's telling her this wolf ticket about how he got the car from a television producer who couldn't pay him in cash because of the way his books were kept, so he gave him the car. Baby girl, you're going to be the biggest star in the world. When I'm through with you, I am going to be the best publicist you ever had in your life. Won't, won't, won't. Meanwhile, he is in girlfriend number 2's mama's car from her job, driving around proudly, shamelessly, like he earned the car. Just lying. Every other word out of his mouth is a lie. I'm telling you, dude, Chip's going to get caught and he's going to get embarrassed. I feel like he's that type. Because remember when when Lily Mae went into his room to clean up, he came in there, he was pissed. He was ready to do something to her. So I'm like, I already know this kid's a weirdo. But he's such a lie. Lying when the truth would sound better. I guess in this case, he needs to keep up the facade that he is this amazing publicist and everybody knows him around town. He's got connections here, there, and everywhere. CG's gonna get her heart broken when she finds out real quick that he really ain't got it like that. At least not as far as we can tell. I really didn't want him to meet Abby because I feel like she'd be able to smell it on him. Okay, so let's get to Abby. Right after Kenny and Gary have that conversation about starting the record company, Gary goes home and he's all hopped up. He's excited from the rush. She can read that on him immediately, and she's like, what are you so excited about? He's like, what do I not have to be excited about? I'm a millionaire. I got the smoking hot woman who's in love with me. Life is good. Life is so good. They fall into their normal routine, but she can tell something is up. She's not nearly as into it as she usually is, but she's still playing the role. Let's go ahead and discuss it. I don't know if I think she's playing a role. I'm not 100% sure that she's playing a role, but I do think she's playing a very long game that might be a role. I think she's into Gary. I think she cares for him. I think she wants him because she's cried behind closed doors for him. However, I don't know how deep Abby's feelings run. I can't imagine that she would ever be overtaken by a man in that way. So, later on in the show, we, the audience, know that Kenny and Gary are working on perhaps starting a record company. Ginger feels away. She's not included in this. She also feels like, what the heck does Gary Ewing know about the music business? Why would you sign up with him? Kenny's like, mind your business, woman. He got the money. I got the talent. CG's got the talent. It is what it is. Ginger feels a whole way about this record company. So she calls Abby one day and she's like, hey, girl, what you doing? Abby said, nothing, chilling. I guess they're friends now. She said, listen, I don't mean to step on any toes. I'm not trying to be in y'all's business like this, but woman to woman, I need your help. Could you please talk to Gary for me? Abby said, talk to Gary about what? Talk to Gary about this damn record business. Ginger says Kenny's ready to quit his job. He's not thinking clearly. So Abby is hearing all this for the first time, and she's trying to keep her composure because she don't want Ginger to know that she don't know. So she says, okay, well, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say to Gary? I need you to talk to him about how difficult this record business is. They're acting like this is a game. Kenny was so excited he couldn't even wait till tomorrow. That's why him and Gary are at their office now. I need you to explain to Gary how rough this business is. And if this thing doesn't work, me and Kenny that's it for us. We're going to be up a creek. Abby got her hand on her hip like somebody's mom at this point. She's like, okay, bet. Don't even worry about it, Ginger. Appreciate the phone call. I'm going to talk to him, all right. I'm going to definitely talk to him. She goes upstairs and pulls out a fresh pair of boots. I think she's been dipping in Gary's bank account already. She showed got a lot of boots all of a sudden. These are over the knee. She gets dressed. She bursts into the office like, well. What do we have here? This feels like a meeting. What y'all in here talking about? Kenny in his flesh-colored top are weirded out, so he quickly exits the room. Abby says, well, when were you going to tell me about all this? When y'all got a hit record? Is that what you were waiting on? Gary says, I don't have to tell you a ting. I spend my money how I want to spend my money. Notice he does not say we. It's mine, not we. Abby says, but you didn't have to lie to me. Even if you don't tell me everything, you don't have to lie. He said, I didn't lie. She said, you did. You omitted it. So you lied. Not telling me is lying. She's like, you were acting this way because I don't want to live on your funky little ranch. Oh, well, boo-hoo. My name is not valuing. I just know she would be buying you a fresh pair of boots. Meanwhile, I'm positive Abby bought herself a fresh pair of boots. I got my own thoughts, Gary. I got my own ideas. I am not the one to play with. I just thought my thoughts and ideas were tied to you. So what and what and what? I am an investor. I am making investments. She's like, in a record label? You know how many people are trying to get out of the music business, but you want to buy into it? Cool, that's cute. If you're going to buy a record company, what are you going to do? You're going to give Richard money too? He's like, yeah, actually, I think I will. That's a great idea. She tries to smooth things over. She walks over to him like, oh, honey. He's like, no, don't do that now. I know what you're doing. You're trying to do that to get your way. She's like, fine, cool. I won't do it no more. I'm sick of secrets. I'm tired of being with a man who doesn't want to be my partner. So either we're a partnership or we are a nothing ship. You pick. Garenthal, medium shirt, Jones Ewing calmly picks up the phone when she leaves, dials up Richard and says, Richard, how much you need, buddy? It was all very childish, in my personal opinion. And it gets even more childish. Later on, he goes home and he changes into something a little more comfortable, which we all know is another medium shirt when Abby comes in. She insists that she just had to come. She wants to make up. He tells her quickly, honey, I hadn't committed any money to the record company. I just wanted to see all the figures. I want to see all the notes. And then I was going to bring it to you. She's like, well, why didn't you just tell me that? He goes, because I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to explain myself. You came in there all loud and aggressive, and you know what that made me do? You might as well know now. I picked up the phone and I called Richard. I'm gonna lend Richard some money. She's like, oh my God, Gary, really? He's like, well, you might as well know now. That's what I do when I'm challenged. I'm gonna do what I want to do. They're not married, but they are adults. This is a relationship, okay. On one hand, I agree with him. This is his money. They are not married. He doesn't really have to tell her too much, but also If y'all have been in a partnership, she was good enough to discuss the weed haul with. She was good enough to blow up your life for. She has been supportive to you. You are living in a home that she has funded. A conversation is bare minimum. Mentioning it in passing. But he doesn't want to tell her because he understands that she's going to ask these probing questions. I don't think she's trying to. I do think she's trying to control money. Let me be very honest. This is the first time I realize Abby is way more savvy than I've been giving her credit for. She might be a whiz with numbers. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. She could cook books. I mean, she can understand books. She understands accounting. I'm starting to wonder if this whole Gary thing is nothing but a facade. I feel like she wants him. I really do. But also, she's known he was a Ewing. It's only a matter of time before he came into some money. Now, she'd have no way of knowing that his dad was going to suddenly die, but she knew he had access to money. And as she put it at the top of this episode, money is power. Power to change things, power to create things, power to build things. This woman knows what she's doing. They kiss and make up. Abby promptly shows up at Richard's office or Richard's restaurant. I say promptly. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's the next morning, next evening, whatever. Let's say it's the next morning since he seems to be alone there. She comes with a check, but she also comes with a contract. Now, Richard's like, oh, I didn't know we were going to have a contract. She's like, yeah, it is what it is. It's business. At first, he's cool with it. He's like, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. As he starts to read over it, one line jumps out to him. The one that specifies that if he defaults in any way on his payment, his restaurant will be repossessed. He's like, you can't take away my restaurant. You can't do that. Then he starts to think, wait a minute. Does Gary know about this? She tells him your business is with me. She started off the conversations by saying, well, I'm handling our business affairs now. So it seems like, well, no, it doesn't seem like that to me. I don't think Gary knows anything about this. Ooh, this is going to get messy. It has to get messy. She also put into the contract that if he doesn't make the payments promptly, the restaurant will be repossessed. They're initially partners at this point. Now, part of me feels like Abby just might, because this feels very sneaky, very behind the back. She just might make sure this restaurant goes down quickly. Not that it's going to be hard because Richard is playing himself. He didn't try on the shoes. He is overspending to overcompensate for him feeling inadequate. And she's capitalizing on that. So it makes me wonder, is she also capitalizing on Gary? He's overcompensating because he feels incompetent in life, or at least he felt it. She's got his ear now. It seems to have purse strings too. It's going to get messy. I can already tell. I knew Abby was a baddie, right? I knew she was going to be the wild card. But she's coming in here with her mind on her money. She's laser focused. And that's the thing about Abby. Abby don't really say a lot. When you think about it, she's a quiet girl. She's always observing. She understands people. She knows how to make a man tick, but she also understands that this is the game and she can spot the weaknesses. I am believing that she has spotted a weakness in Gary. She loves him, but I also think, what's love got to do with my money? What does love have to do with my future? He's the head, but she's definitely the neck. She's going to turn him any way she wants. As long as she feeds into the part of him that is adventurous and is like, honey, I know you like to take risks. I know these things, but let me be the big bad wolf. You go do this, that, and the third. I think it'll be fine. And then I think before you know it, it'll be too late. I really do. This is a fantastic episode because you really see who's moving what around and how. Chip and Abby are on top of their game. Now, Chip has to lie, cheat, and steal, even when the truth sounds better. Abby knows how to use the truth as leverage for her lies. Oh, Richard. This is going to be a disaster. I'm also really looking forward to the confrontation between Diana, almost called the girl Skibbity, CG, and Ms. Lily Mae. And that's the thing about a dream. Having a vision can be a guiding light, but it could also be a blinding light. Baby Jet had a vision of fashion iconery in middle school and living the life I had dreamed up until that point. The shoes didn't stop me, but through my excitement, I omitted something that was so blatantly obvious. I skipped just the most basic of steps, and I feel like this is the same thing that's happening with Gary and Kenny. I can't quite tell with Gary. I mean, it's not super obvious because he has money to spread around, but he's missing a very, very, very obvious thing with Abby. I just can't quite put it into words. I don't know if she's fully using him, but she is definitely leveraging him, if nothing else. CG2, for whatever reason, I'm wondering why nobody is picking up CG as a recording artist. I'm not saying they should give up on her, but Kenny is not picking up. He's skipping over the very, very basic fact that his wife is now working behind the scenes to ensure he don't do nothing wild. If CG has success, I think it'll be the detriment of his marriage. Do I care? Not at all. Not even a little bit. Yeah, I kind of forget they're on here sometimes. But Richard, y'all, Richard, it's inevitable. It's going down. Oh, last little tidbit, I forgot to tell y'all that Matt came back by the house. Karen told her brother that she wasn't ready for him to leave because Mac is a douchebag and he's not going to be in her life, but that wasn't really true. He came back through. The kids were at school. She's like, let's go on and go upstairs and do what grown people do. Wow, wow. All right, guys, that's it. That's all for this exciting episode of Knots Landing. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I am watching this on Amazon Prime. I haven't said that in a long time. Get caught up. Get into the conversation. Send me a text if you're listening to this on your mobile device. There is a link in the show notes. I love, love, love hearing from you, and I will always acknowledge you. If you don't have time to send a text, send me an old-fashioned email. You can reach me at soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. That's soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. In the meantime, in between time, if you insist on squeezing into something that don't quite fit you, baby, girdle up, lotion up, lather down. Do something to slip in and out of it. And crying out loud, bring something extra. Bring a pair of house shoes or some gym shorts or something, because you will get uncomfortable. Not everything is for everybody. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own business, and keep all of your drama on TV.